friends, and welcome to the Doghouse. I'm the goodest boy. This channel is going to be devoted to covering cool combos and off-meta content. Rogue decks, fun decks, and even casual decks. So if anyone's ever told you that your deck is dog water, you're in the right place. We love having a fresh, clean bowl. Today, we're going to be taking a look at one of my decks, which some of you may have seen floating around Dreamborn, inspiring imitators. It's Flinger Dingers. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can this deck be off-meta if it's the most popular deck on Dreamborn? Because they laughed at it last set, and now? I am inevitable. But in all seriousness, the deck itself does some pretty unique things in the meta compared to traditional decks in the same color scheme, and it uses a lot of cards that people don't consider meta or viable. Since it still doesn't have any tourney results yet, the deck's a little rogue, which means it fits right in here. So let's start flinging some dings. But first, let me show you some of the cool things you can do with this deck. Let's look at Mother Gothal. Beautiful, bodacious, doesn't get mad when you call her mommy. Perfect! Mother Gothal is cool in that she can break some interesting rules of the game. She can actually end challenges before damage is dealt. Let's look at the rules that make this happen. Wow. For those of you that don't want to read all that, I don't blame you. Let me explain. First, we have game state checks. These are things that happen passively in a TCG between each and every action. The game might check for certain states, which can include whether a character has enough damage to be banished, whether other marvels enter the bag, etc. We care about the banishing check. Next, let's look at the steps of a challenge. First, or fifth, the challenge occurs. Next, Mother Gothal's ability would trigger, allowing you to fling one counter to an opponent. Once the trigger is resolved, the damage step occurs. So let's say we have a board that looks like this. There's an exerted 2/1 Mulan in play, and you have a Pain with 1 damage and Mother Gothal on board. You can challenge with Pain and not die. You won't even feel the pain. Basically, when you challenge, Mother Gothal's ability goes into the bag and must be resolved first, so you would fling a counter from Pain onto Mulan. Next, the state check occurs. Since Mulan has enough damage to be banished, she does so. And then, the challenge just ends. Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? One other cool thing about this is how it interacts with steel decks. Since you fling counters before the damage step, if you fling one counter onto a Pluto or some other character that has a "while this character has no damage" effect, it will be considered damaged during the damage step and loses its buff. Also, flinging counters gets around resist, as placing damage counters is not considered dealing damage. For example, if you play Teeth and Ambitions on a character with resist 2, you'll deal 0 damage. If you play Panic and fling 2 damage counters, you've essentially dealt 2 damage. Take that, Pete! So let's get into some of the card choices for this deck. Here's the full list for reference. I also change it constantly, because I am a fickle beast. Let's start from the bottom. In your 1-drop slot, you've got some 1/3 cards. Why 1/3 specifically? Generally, we want to survive an early game Cindy singing Storm Rage On. Also gives us a target for Teeth and Ambitions to take out one of their early characters. We also have Diablo to help with Draw and Sift. In your 2-drop slot, you've mostly got Queen of Hearts and Flynn Rider. Queen of Hearts tends to survive almost any spell and gains power for doing so. Plus, you can ping her with Madame Medusa to return one of their lower-cost characters to hand. You can use that ping to swing her into a daisy. Alternatively, if playing against slow decks like Red-Blue, play Flynn into Prince John. Additionally, we have Mommy. Mother Gothal, though we don't typically play her on 2. She's useful to ding a character, give them Challenger, and have them punch above their weight. She's also got a chain for complete and total control. What? It's not weird for me to be on a leash. In your 3-drop slot, we have Medusa and PJ, which we talked about already, but also Mother Gothal. You don't traditionally play her on curve either, but if you've teeth to pain, she could be good to give you some reach. We also have Friends on the other side, though you typically want to sing it with PJ or Medusa. Now your 4-drop slot is where things get really interesting. Panic lets you fling 2 counters when he enters play, and PJ gets damaged when an opponent plays something. You almost always get 1 or 2 damage to fling next turn, and he quests for 2. Alternatively, play Queen's Castle to threaten some major lore burst. Your 5-drop slot is packed with enablers. We got Belle, who flings 3, Elsa, who can exert and rush in, great with Mother Gothel, and Finders Keepers, which is great to play on curve. We tend to control board turns 2 through 4, so taking a turn off to refill your hand can be crucial. From 6 and beyond, we got Hydra, my personal favorite. The bane of steel decks everywhere, Hydra gets additional mileage in this deck because we tend to deal a lot of damage. Anytime he takes damage, whether that be in a challenge, with teeth, or one of our dinger effects, he reflects it back. He's such a good boy! Trust me, I'm an expert. This comes in handy on turn 7, when we play Hades. Hades dings 2, draws 2, and then Hydra can deal 2. Not a bad play! We also have Be Prepared for emergency board wipe. Steelsong tends to aggro after a wheel, so being able to negate their tempo is crucial, and can help when things get out of hand, or paw. Now we get to the hard part. Mulligans. I've never been good at Goth. Thank you. So let's go over a few of the top decks and what cards we want to keep against them. Let's start with Steelsong. Steelsong is tricky because they have a lot of damage. We keep a lot of damage. We live on the edge, they could never understand. Early game, look for one of your 1-drops or Queen of Hearts. These cards will survive an early Storm Rage on with Cindy. You can also play Teeth and Ambitions on 2 to destroy Cindy from whence she came. By turn 3, look to play Medusa on Queen of Hearts to bounce Troubadour or Cindy. Or challenge into a Rhino to remove the resist. From here, play Panic to take out some Cindys, or Queen's Castle to force lore pressure. Get your Hydra out when possible, and be prepared to be prepared when necessary. Red-blue makes me blue. Red-blue control is tough, but do your best to play Flynn to PJ and to Castle. They tend to ramp for the first few turns, so sneaking a lot of lore in before they begin their game plan is crucial. Churnadogs? No Churnaprob. It's a real dog fight with this one. Look for big power creatures and Mother Gothel. Challenge where you can until you diminish their hand size, then start chipping away in lore totals. Castle works well here as well. You'll play from behind for a bit, so don't panic. That's our job. This advice works pretty much for any aggro deck. Purple Steel? Queen of Hearts and Medusa early game can help you get tempo, but they're likely to play Peter Pan and Rush with their evasive creatures. Take smart trades where you can, fling where you must, and be prep late game to regain tempo. Hydra works wonders against this deck. Gerbil? Gerbil control is rough. PJ is crucial, and flinging is crucial. It's going to be a slog the whole time, but do what you can. Queen of Hearts survives early game challenges. Medusa sends things back to deny draw. PJ is a stalwart, and Hades helps you get your draw back. Green Steel discard. If you're playing this deck, just go fetch or something. I think the ball went down the drain. Go get it. Green Steel discard is a tough matchup for everyone, but their ward creatures mess with our ability to fling. Do your best to get Flynn and PJ out for lore gain and Queen's Castle for draw potential. They don't have a lot of answers to high health and power, so keep some teeth nearby to take out that pesky bird. They're going to discard your hand anyway, so get ready to go wide and play in top deck mode. Anyways, that's a short video primer on the deck, the cool stuff it does, and why the cards are there. I plan on making more videos on different topics, including other cool off-meta decks, community highlights, where I showcase some decks from viewers and Doghouse members, and Combo of the Week videos, where I showcase some of the cool combos we came up with. If you want to join the discussion on Discord, there's a link to the server down below. And remember, if someone calls your deck dog, that's a good thing. Bark!